Hello YouTube, this is Loyal to Law once again, and this time this video is going to be a video response to the most famous martial arts show out there here in YouTube. And it's so good, so fantastic and awesome. I strongly suggest that you would subscribe to his channel. And this is the Demzly Show. And I'm honored once again to be your guest, Sir Duane. And from here, we're going to start answering the questions that you asked, and I wrote them all down right here. Whoops. First question: why loyal to law? What does my channel consist of, and what would people expect when they're coming to my channel? My channel name came from the inspiration of me playing the famous arcade game called Tekken, and one of the main characters there that I play is Law, and because there are now 40 playable characters in that game alone, Tekken. The Loyal to Law was truly inspired because I really want to stick to Law, despite of all the changes that Namco, the company, did to the Tekken game. So whatever changes Namco did to Tekken, I'm going to stick with Law. Hence my name, Loyal to Law. My channel consists of a whole lot of solo training videos, mainly because I solo train a whole lot. I'm not in a formal dojo right now, though I practice martial arts per semester when I'm attending classes, when I sign up for classes. So that's why I'm doing mostly solo training, and you're going to watch and see a whole lot of videos of me doing some kind of basics and explaining the basics in detail as much as possible in the simplest form for people to understand, especially for those who are total beginners. And that's what people would expect when they come to my channel. And so, what do I aim to provide by making my channel? My main target, most especially, are the beginners. Mainly because I've been a beginner, a really total beginner. And I've experienced what it's like to be a real beginner. I mean, you've never tried any kind of martial art technique before. Any kind of martial art stance is too weird to do, aside from just doing a stand-up stance or a relaxed stance. Doing a punch was so difficult, and doing a whole lot of mistakes in the short run, expecting fast, immediate results, is really, really frustrating. And so I really want to show the beginners out there in the martial arts all of the basic techniques that they can do in the most subtle and simplest way possible, in the most layman's term that I could explain to them. And so that's what I'm aiming for. How do I feel about the martial art and the internet being intertwined? The martial art and the internet being intertwined is a really, really great idea. Because first and foremost, a whole lot of martial arts out there are not known up until the internet, up until martial arts was introduced in the internet. Since then, a whole lot of martial arts have been discovered, became popular as a result, and some are still being discovered right now as we speak. And because of the internet, a lot of martial arts that should have died out still lived. Especially those martial arts that are just staying in family lineages. I'll give an example. Bagwazang, for example. A whole lot of Bagwazang martial arts disciplines were already dying out because they were just staying in family lineages. I'm not saying all of the Bagwazang disciplines, but just some of them. And because of the internet and introducing Bagwazang to the internet, a whole lot of people out there now are practicing Bagwazang. And Bagwazang is still alive up until today. So that's how good the internet did That's how good martial arts and internet combination was or is up until now. The recommendations that I can tell to the audience in the internet here in YouTube first and foremost would be you, Duane, because without you, I wouldn't be doing solo training right now. And I say that because I was inspired by your first video that DTG Taiho Jutsu shared to me. Well, his channel name was different before. And it was about a towel. And you showed some kind of solo training with the towel that I have never even thought of, and I have never even practiced. And since then, I've been looking at everything in my surroundings, and I try to really imagine myself doing some kind of martial art technique or exercise from there. And that's where my solo training expanded. And another channel that I would recommend, and these are the channels that are just coming up from my head, by the way, so excuse me to anyone that I missed. I'll post a whole lot of the links that I can remember on the description box, wherever the description box is. The next person that I would suggest would be DTG Taiho Jutsu, because he presents a whole lot of Taiho Jutsu techniques. Taiho Jutsu meaning arresting arts, and they are lethal if you want. The techniques that he shows are lethal if you want them lethal, and they can't be lethal if you don't want them to be lethal. And his channel is great, and he's also one of my greatest friends aside from Duane here in YouTube, so please subscribe to him. Another channel that I would strongly suggest is PCBD, which is Sifu Chow's channel. Sifu Chow is one of the greatest kung fu martial artists that I've met in YouTube. His talent as a martial artist is so vast, it can't even be described in words. It's not because of his experience, but you could really see the hard work ethic that he implanted, then that he showed and practiced throughout his martial arts training. And that alone is a really, really, really great inspiration for young martial artists like me and to all the martial artists out there. So subscribe to him if you want. If you want to, and if you want the Chinese martial arts. Also, I would like you to subscribe to Emil, which is HLB 101, I think, for all those JKD enthusiasts out there. His hand speed, his foot speed is amazing, and he can just punch you 12 times in the face in one snap of a finger. That's how fast he is. Well, I might be exaggerating, but hey, he's that fast. And the rest, sorry, I can't really remember them right now. I'll just be posting a whole lot of links right down here. Books and DVDs. I still strongly recommend martial artists out there to really read Terry Tom's The Straight Lead. It's one of the best books about the straight lead, one of the main tools in Jeet Kune Do. And it's a punch, and it's a former boxing punch, but right now it's being really implemented in Jeet Kune Do, and it really trains you and opens your eyes on how to really do the straight lead. On to the next question. Let's see here, all that. Yeah, still have time. The martial art disciplines that I've studied are in order. Is I think it's Kobayashi. No. I just say Okinawan Shorin Ryu Karate. And together with that, I also practice the basics of Arnis. And I also practice the basics of boxing, kickboxing, and right now I'm currently practicing Bagwazang. Although I signed up for a class for Muay Thai next semester, so I'll be practicing that too. How'd I feel being partners with Duane? Me being partners with Duane is awesome. Are you serious? Because Not only did Duane really inspire me to do solo training techniques, I continued to learn a whole lot from him, from his videos, especially his door frame series. I haven't even thought of doing that. And being partners with a guy as great as him, not only him being a really great solo trainer and the owner of the Demzly Show, but also as a great martial artist, really inspires me a whole lot because sharing ideas in the internet, especially when it comes to martial arts, is a really great help when you want to further uh, share to your audience, to the solo trainers, to the beginners out there. You really, especially when you have that humble and sincere feeling of just helping other martial artists out there to reach their full potential, even in the subtlest way possible. So that's how I feel, Duane. I really, really am honored to be one of your partners here in YouTube in doing or sharing martial arts techniques and training videos. Okay, what inspired you to make videos and explain in detail the subtle body mechanics? Well, what inspired me really was when I was a beginner, I all I had a whole lot of frustrations and a whole lot of mistakes done. And because of that, whenever I make a video about a simple technique, I always think about the beginner's perspective. The similar or at least the familiar questions that I would ask if I am a beginner. Like, how do you do the correct punch correctly? How will I know if the technique that I did is correct or not? If my form is correct or not? Is my breathing included? Do I really need to do this? Why do I need to do this? Hey, my muscle is twitching. Is that good? And those kinds of stuff. And because of that, I can, at least on some level, empathize to the beginner's feelings. And so that's really the main reason why I explain it in the most elaborate but simplest form of explanation possible to the beginner for them to understand and practice it at instant, and so that they can really practice it perfectly until they go to the next technique. And so this is the end of the first video, and I'm now going to the second video because YouTube is only allowing video uploads to be 15 minutes long. So part 2 next.